welcome back to Talks with Yan. Welcome if you're new. Today is going to be a little different. We're going to be talking about a story time. Maybe my first. I said maybe because I don't know if I'm going to tell any more story time. But before we jump in, we're going to take the time out to talk about the things that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the sun being out. I'm thankful for enjoying my birthday. I'm thankful, I'm Jamaican. I'm thankful for the sun being out, me enjoying my birthday, me feeling better. I was feeling really bad for the past week or so, but leading up to my birthday, I felt much better, and I'm really thankful for that. I'm thankful for my friends and my family. I'm thankful for doing this story time. This is my first time. Well, you guys don't know why. So, as some of you may already know, I used to live in California. I migrated to the States about 11 years ago, and so I spent basically my whole life in California, right? So there's this one particular time it's my braces. Okay, there's one particular time, right, when I had just moved to this new area, and it was kind of intimidating. Why? Because it was a area where I was the only one, you know what I'm saying? The only one, yeah. And they all spoke Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. And with that area, either they like you or they really don't. There's just no in between, you know. And I was very intimidated because I had to go to school there, I had to find work there and all that stuff. So I'm just like, shoot. I started signing up for school and I started looking for jobs, right? But I was so intimidated because I'm like, yo, most of these jobs are saying that you need to be bilingual, and I'm not. And so I remember downloading some Spanish app and going on YouTube and typing in the common phrases to say, how to respond, how to start a conversation. And I literally bought a notebook and I wrote all this down because I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna get a job, and if that means I have to learn Spanish, then so be it. But in the meantime, I was obviously still looking for jobs, right? And then I got this job, and funny enough, it's like it's like my worst nightmare came true. I got hired at a place where it was known for traditional Spanish speaking family, right? And I'm like, wow, okay. And I just remember in the interview, the boss asked me if I spoke Spanish, and I was like, no, I don't, but I can learn. And she was like, yeah, it's no big deal. There's a lot of people that came here and they didn't really know anything, and after a year or so, they know how to speak Spanish, so that would be you, don't worry. And I was very confident. You guessed it with me. I was the only one again, right? And I was like, okay, no big deal. I'm here to get a paycheck and take care of myself and go about my business, so who cares? God, it got so bad to the point where as soon as I walk in, I got the worst migraine ever. And the girls were really mean to me. They would always talk crap in Spanish and look at me dirty. And I didn't know Spanish, but I would look at them dirty too, you know? And I would let them know how I feel in English, because that's all I know. I'm saying? But they didn't really care, and what didn't help me either is that there were times when there would be customers that come in and they were request to speak to me, and the girls would hate that, which is so funny because it's not like we're getting tips or anything, you know. They just want me to serve them, right? And they would just always talk crap, and I was like, I don't get it. It's like, first of all, me don't want no man, me don't want to no man them, and me they have to look friend or nobody, so I know what's the problem, right? But it continued for months and months and months, and I try not to let it bother me that much. I just was just focusing on school and work and making friends from the other old area, so we would still hang out to do stuff. So I would look forward to those visits with my friends. Shout out to my friends. This guy that was at my job, and he was really attractive to majority of the girls. He was okay to me, and they really liked him. And I remember they would just always talk back and forth in Spanish and English, how he's just so hot, and they just would do all these things to him and yada yada yada. And I'm just like, okay. But the guy was interested in me, and he made it so obvious. And oh, that he made my life a living hell because when him do that, I know the girl them hate me, and I'm just like, bro, like, what you gotta do that for? Like, you know, this is uncalled for. But like, he was really nice, and but I wasn't really looking for anything. I had just moved to the area, and you know, I was starting school, and I just started a job. So the last thing on my mind is to get into a relationship, you know. And I think I did express it to him once he confirmed that he actually liked me and stuff like that. But those girls wanted to rip my head off. But long story short, we ended up started dating, and to be honest, I felt really uncomfortable because of our age difference. And I just feel like when you're a certain age, you're supposed to be at a certain level in your life, and he just wasn't leading up to it. But I think like I was understanding with him because he had told me that he had just moved back from Vegas, which is like, for those who don't know, Vegas is like kind of right next to California. And he said he's just trying to get his life back together. So I'm like, okay, cool. And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't think I'm gonna actually date him anyway. So what the hell? Let's be friends. We started dating, and he was really nice. He was a gentleman. He would like buy me groceries, he would open the door, and he would do little stuff like that, right? Which was interesting to me because I've never actually experienced that or kind of allowed anyone to do that. But I was just like, okay, if you insist. And it was just so funny. I remember one time we got into arguments, and he had the audacity to tell me, say, him buy me food. He said, dirty boy, you come over here and name the food every day, so don't bother with it. And I'm saying, I'm not a partner, buy me nothing again. And it was hard for him to hear that, but I was like, yeah, don't buy anything, and don't come over. Don't come over, stop coming over. I was so annoying. He was like mad clingy. He would literally always want me to be, he would always want to be with me like 24/7. Like, even when I tell him I have to study for my test and yada yada yada, he was just like, it's no problem. I could just come and I'll just sleep and you could just do what you need to do. And it's like, no, it's not gonna work out because you're gonna distract me, you're gonna have an attitude. Yeah, and he's wow. It was, I should have ran then, you know, but I was so scared because I've learned something about his past, and you know, it got to the point where he was basically telling me that his life is in my hands. Okay? His life is in my hands. Meaning, if me break up with him, I'm gonna kill himself. So it's like, Jesus, peace, I hope I get this by myself now, like, how that happened, me, you, your life, no my life. So yes, guys, when he was telling me that his life is in my hands, I just felt so, I don't even know how to explain it, but I was like, that's not right, that's not what we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying? But well, when we were dating, I've learned like that, like in his past, like 10 years ago, he used to gang bang and he did drugs, right? Now, I didn't know the extent of his drug use. I didn't care for it. He told me it was 10 years ago. I didn't see the big deal. He told me trying to get his life together, yada yada yada. So I was just like, okay, maybe it doesn't even matter. It shouldn't matter. And I'm not the type of person that do drugs and stuff like that. So, you know, there's no way I'm going to influence him in a bad way to even get to that point. At least that's what I thought. Okay. But, yes, so one day he was supposed to pick me up from work, and he was calling, texting. He didn't respond. So I was like, okay, forget you, right? So I left home. Then he called me the next morning, tell me that him fall asleep, and him left me back the money. Said, I know, say probably take live. Here's the money, there you go, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But what happened last night? Because I never really believed him, you know. But like I said, no, I'm telling you, like I fell asleep, yada yada yada. And I was like, okay, cool. But then, like I told you guys earlier, he's mad clean, right? So he didn't want to see me. And when you're using, you start to look different. You have a different attitude. Your whole demeanor changes. So I noticed that he was avoiding me for days because he didn't want me to see him. And I put two and two together and know that he was using. And I was close to his family. I got really close to his family, but they didn't know the extent of our relationship, like to the point that if he ever shared his past with me. So when things would happen with them, like his sister, we're around the same age. His sister would just, you know, just kind of always talk to me, but she didn't really know how much to say because she felt like it wasn't really her place, basically. So one time she was like going around the bush basically trying to tell me like, hey, they're worried about him and they don't know if he's like on the road doing it or whatever the case is, right? Him doing drugs. And I was telling her like, it's okay, like he told me about his past, I know what you're talking about. And she's like, okay, good, as you know, it was my place, yada yada yada. No guys, long story short, I just keep noticing these reoccurrence of him like just disappearing for a few days, being distant and stuff like that. So I put two and two together and I was like, okay, clearly you're using again, and it was more than once. So when I realized what was going on, I was like, okay, I'm not going to deal with this, right? And obviously I broke it off with him, at least so I thought. And you know, he would text me, he would call and try to get back together. He would have his family trying to talk to me and, you know, just kind of figure out what's going on, even though they do really know what's going on. But that was that, right? And he one day he got super high, okay, super high. And I remember this night I was just sitting down, I was watching TV, and I didn't have a care in the world. I was a free woman. I was probably binge watching something that I love, and there was this loud banging on the door. I didn't hear it though because my TV was loud, and the manager, she called me because we were like cool like that, and she was like, hey hon, are you expecting company because somebody's knocking down your door? And I'm like, oh, no I'm not, but I think I know who it is. And she was just like, do you want to see the person? And I'm just like, no. So she was like, okay, stay inside. So I stood inside, but the way how my door is set up, there's like a barrier, you know, there's I don't know how to explain it, but there's like a mesh barrier between it. So if I open the door and it's really dark, so you can't really tell that I'm looking outside at you, right? So I heard them both out there arguing, and he's just like, she's effing somebody, there's somebody in there, yada yada yada. Now if you're wondering why is he telling the manager that there was somebody in there, it was like this school living situation where at a certain time we can't really have guests. So he basically in his sick high mind saying he's gonna tell on me. So he was just saying, yeah, there's somebody over there, they're over there effing, I saw them from across the room, I saw him taking off his shirt and they was doing it, yada yada yada. And I'm just like, yo, is this dude serious? And the way he was so convincing, like I thought there was a guy in my room taking off his shirt. I'm really have to think I said, well on there. Then how many to this man, let me go check your man. You know what I'm saying? Like he was so serious. And I just remember, you know, the manager was saying like, you know, you need to go home, there's nobody there, yada yada yada, just go home, what are you doing here? And they would just argue back and forth, and she's like, look, I really don't want to call the police, I could tell you're not well, just go home. But he did not want to hear that. He kept telling me, you need to open the door, you need to open the door, you're cheating on me. And I think I was like, how am I cheating on you? We're not even together. Like, what are you talking about? Just go home, right? And he just kept yelling back and forth till eventually he got out the gate, because he jumped the gate to get in the first place, right? So I guess he jumped back out the gate, but he was just, so I thought he left. So I went back to my room and I was just like kind of shaken up, because I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I was talking to one of my friends at the moment, and she was like, do you feel safe? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, do you want to sleep over? And I was like, no, it's okay, like I'll just stay. And then that was that, right? She's like, call me, text me if anything. Shout out to my friend. So me here one look up, me here one rock stone, something like this, one rock stone and lit me window, right? I mean say, oh, what is? One time look outside, another madman, you see, a pace back and forth. So I'm up the window and say, what are you doing here? Go home. And say, you effing slut! I thought you loved me! And they were screaming, and they were going, and I felt so embarrassed because they never called me up my name before. Nobody don't know my business in the neighborhood there. And for him to have gone so, I was just so embarrassed. I remember my neighbor them there text me and said me, alright. I never did respond. Like, that's just too much. But you must hear you and say, you are a slut, you think you love me, how you feel there with somebody else already, and yada yada yada, you cheat by me. Same day I go back and forth with me cheating and me moving on so fast with somebody. Sick, right? Yeah. So he just kept doing that for a while, and I just felt so bad. And I'm just like, yo, this is actually my first time dealing with someone, you know, that in a nutshell had a mental illness and was addicted to drugs, you know. His choice of drugs was meth. And it was just so scary because I've just never done that before. And I remember I was talking to my really good friend one time about it, and she told me that she knew somebody that was like that, and it was just so bad. And you know, she was agreeing with me, like, I shouldn't deal with that, like, don't put up with that, that's just crazy, right? And I'm just like, yeah, that's what I think, like, I don't want to deal with that. But I just felt so bad for him. Like, even after we broke up, I didn't even get the time to grieve because I was actually really attached to his family and stuff, you know? Like, it was my first time actually allowing myself to be more than attached to the individual, you know? Like, I brought the family into. And that was a cool experience because they liked me and I liked them back, you know? But my boy was crazy. Okay, so even though we've broken up, right? I felt really bad for him because after speaking with his sister, she told me that the family kicked him out the house because he's high, there's a little baby there, and I guess there's times when he got really violent or tried to, you know. She told me, yeah, he'll get up in mom's face and talking all this stuff, how the government is looking for him and they're tracking him, and you know, we're breaking up the government and yada yada yada. Then I would just feel so bad. And I remember one time I went over the house to talk to him, and he was basically saying the same thing that they were telling me, and I was like, wow, this dude is just far gone, right? So when they kicked him out, he was just kind of telling me that he needs somewhere to take a shower and stuff like that. And I felt so bad, and I would allow him to come over, take a shower. Sometimes I would give him something to eat, or if he had something to warm up or whatever the case is, he would warm it up, and I was like, okay, it's time to go. And he actually never really fought me on that. Like, I think he accept how things was and understood, like, yeah, she's just be nice and there's no future, right? So he never really gave me a time. He came over and showered a few times, and you know, as soon as he showered, I told him that it was time to go, and he would go. And there was time when he would beg me if he could just sleep there, and so I would tell him, like, yeah, you can sleep on the floor because you're not going to come into my bed, you know. And he was okay with that. I gave him a pillow, gave him some blanket, and he would nap, and I'll wake him up and be like, okay, it's time to go. And I felt so guilty because when he wasn't there, he was on the road, right? Because he's not going back home to his family. And then I spoke to my mentor about it, and you know, she kind of knew the manager and stuff, and she kind of made it to the point where she kind of banned him from coming over because he was just acting so crazy. And so that really helped me because I just really didn't know how to let him go forever, like, as in, like, stop helping in this period, right? So when I told him that, I was like, yes, like, no, I had the perfect excuse to let him, like, stop coming over. Like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to see you. And he understood. There was times that he wanted to sneak in and stuff, and I kind of did, I'm not gonna lie, because I just felt so bad, guys. I just felt so bad. So he would take the shower, he'll know the routine. He'd take the shower, he'll warm up and eat something, and then he'll just bounce. And after a while, I was just like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. So I just cut him off completely, and I just stopped making myself feel so burdened for him, you know, because it's just not my responsibility. And it was really hard. It was really hard. I had a therapist at the time, / a mentor, and we were talking about things, and I would tell her how he's just threatening to kill himself if I just ever let him go and leave him alone. And it took me a little while to really realize, like, yo, if Mo kill himself, the son's sad, and my other's kill himself, I'm gonna have nothing to do with that, you know? So after I realized that, I just kind of accept the fact that whatever happens, you know? Like, I just feel him the decision, and I'm gonna do what I want to do anyways. So my story time is my first time dealing with someone that had an addiction to drugs, and also me being involved with a family, because I've never experienced that before. But really just the drug part. I know I don't want to date anybody that has drug history and stuff like that, or do drugs. I just don't have time for it. I'm not going to put myself through that again. You know, even though I decided that I didn't want anything else to do with him, I remember I was on the phone and I was calling like different programs for him to like admit. and at least have a place to stay and try to get his life together. Because like I said, his family kicked him out. He's not coming over my place anymore. And so he was really just on the road. And it was a good thing that he had a car, which he destroyed. I remember one time I went to his car and I look up the ceiling. First of all, the windshield just had this big dirty crack. I'm looking at him, I'm just like, where that come from? He started to tell me a story about aliens, how the aliens come down in the night and how the woman tells they need to do this and do that. And when I look up at the ceiling, the whole of the ceiling burn out. I said the whole of the ceiling burn out, rise out. Some say, oh, I'm serious, I say, I'm gonna kill yourself. The man started to laugh hysterically. And I said, it's not funny. Yes, he said, I'm gonna kill yourself. And then I laugh and look and say, no, I'm okay. Wow. Sometimes I still wonder about him from, here and there, to wonder if he got his life together, if he's okay. Because he's really not a bad person, He just have issues he needs to work on, and that's not something that I'm starting off with. But I hope if any of you guys are dealing with any situation similar to that, just know that you're not alone. Like, you are not wrong for wanting to help them, but don't make it to a point where it's really affecting your health. They can have outside help without you. And I think that was the last thing that really made me be like, okay, I can let go, because I'm not the only person that can help them. So I just want to let you guys know that there's other ways to help them, and you don't have to be around, and you shouldn't be able to put yourself through that. Like at the end of the day, you don't want to attach yourself to somebody that can't even get their life together. Like, that's trash. Like, why would you do that anyways? You know what I'm saying? So just know that you're not alone, that there's help that can be given to him or her without you, and that at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first, And we're all about helping each other and caring for each other and just being there for each other. But there's going to be situations where you have to put yourself first and do that for yourself. And that was definitely my situation. And so I'm kind of thankful for the experience in a way, because I've never dealt with it before. I really know like what it's like and what I don't want and what I do want. And so I wish him all the best. I hope he's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed my first story time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.